welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Chris Lee Kennedy, and this is the show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course, we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the internet, coming to you live from the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California. We are so glad you decided to make us a part of your day.
And we also have joining us the director of the upcoming film, The Death of Superman Lives. What happened? Mr. John Schnepp.
I missed that intro from Chris Lee. She's been gone too long. What's going on, everybody?
So glad to be back, guys. All right, with the 4 main cast members already being selected for their roles, Fox is now turning their attention to who will play the Fantastic Four's arch nemesis, Dr. Victor Von Doom. According to reports, the list has been narrowed down to these 4 actors: Domhnall Gleeson from About Time, Toby Kebbell from Wraths of the Titans, Eddie Redmayne from Les Miserables, and Sam Riley from On the Road. John, what would you think about any of these actors as Doom?
Actually, I like the fact that they're all lesser known. I gotta tell you though, the name that jumped out to me is Gleeson's. About Time, I believe that was the name of the film. Very underappreciated little, because I think some people avoided it because it just looked like a standard romantic comedy. I was really attracted to it because Bill Nye was in it, but it's the whole time travel stuff going on.
Go in the closet and rub your thumbs. That's why I didn't go see it.
But I tell you, he gave a really good performance. And look, I've liked him as the Weasley brother in the Harry Potter stuff. He actually even has a small role in Doom, or not Doom, Dread.
Okay.
I actually really like him. And it kind of caught me by surprise when I saw his name on this, because really that guy? And then I thought about it, and I went, yeah, I could see it. Maybe not my first pick,
right,
but I could totally see this guy, so I'd be on board with him. What did you think about the list?
I don't want to chime in, but I agree with you. I mean, especially when you see the lineup, who sticks out?
Gleeson.
The ginger, yeah. I mean, the redhead. He basically and he's a good actor. I mean, I've seen him in more films than the other guys as well. So, I mean, at least for me, he feels like he'd strike a chord. He has a different look. He has a different energy. So, for Doom, I would say great. And also, he has an Irish accent. He could easily translate that to Latverian.
Latverian.
You know? So.
Yeah, I could totally see it, actually. I really, really can. Now, granted, if we didn't already know that Fox was going for the younger breed of Fantastic Four,
right,
then we would look at this list and go,
what's going on?
None of these guys are Dr. Doom. Right. But having that, we're at a point now where we were at the point of acceptance. Now that we've come to the point where we've accepted that they are going with that younger breed of Fantastic Four, this actually stands out as a pretty interesting list. And you're right, I like Gleeson for it.
Doom Jr.
Doom Jr. All right, what's next?
The upcoming comedy, The Black Phantom, may have 4 of its leading men, but according to reports, Jamie Foxx and Kevin Hart are in negotiations to star for director Tim Story, who helmed the original Fantastic Four films and the recent hit comedy Ride Along. In the film, which has been scripted by Megan Hines and David Lease, a double-cross mob hitman turns for help to an unlikely source, the title character, another hitman who is hired to kill him. Schnepp, do you think an on-screen duo of Foxx and Hart can work?
I certainly do. I think it's a really interesting team up. They're both really funny. They've been incredibly funny on their own. So I think it's a great idea to put them together. You know, as both of them being assassins, I tend to not really believe at all. But then maybe that'll make it even funnier. So I think it's a good team up.
You know what? I gotta say, I really like the team up. Now these are 2 very different dudes. Jamie Foxx, Academy Award winner, and I'm sorry, I've liked him in just about everything he's appeared in, and for a very long time. And then when you see him in a movie like Horrible Bosses, and he plays the mother effer, Mother Effer Jones. The mother effer is, of course, from the Kick-Ass sequel.
Yeah.
I think he's still an incredibly funny guy, even though he can do dramatic and win Academy Awards for it. Awesome. Kevin Hart. Eventually, I am going to get tired of Kevin Hart's shtick. I admit that at some point, because he really is the same guy in every movie he does. Yeah. But I'm not at that point yet. Right now, I see Kevin Hart in a movie, and he still really makes me laugh a lot. Now, I know at some point I'll probably get tired of it unless he changes things up a bit. But for now, I see him in a movie, and he still really makes me laugh. Seeing him paired up with a guy like Jamie Foxx, I think this has really big potential. Look, I'm not saying this is a guaranteed hit or this is a guaranteed great movie. I'm not saying that whatsoever.
Right.
But I'm saying this type of a combination I think is very interesting. I think the dynamic could be really cool, and I think the potential for it to be really good is quite high. So we'll see how that kind of works out.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, like when you said you're not tired of Kevin Hart yet, I was instantly thought like he isn't Gilbert Gottfried yet.
Yeah,
like, he has a shtick.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Kevin Hart is funnier in certain ways, but like he has this shtick that he keeps using, and eventually, if he doesn't transform or change it somehow, he's gonna peg hole, put himself in his own little peg.
Right. And I'm surprised we haven't hit that point yet. But for myself, I haven't hit it yet.
No.
I see him in these movies, and he still thoroughly entertains me. So keep riding the train as long as you can.
And Jamie Foxx, I think, with this combo duo, he's going to be the straight man. He's going to be, the foil.
We'll see. It'll be interesting because remember Pineapple Express.
Yep.
You had, and when you hear that, it's a movie about more of a straight-laced business guy and his weed dealer, and it's going to be Seth Rogen and James Franco. Well, you think Seth Rogen's going to be the weed dealer and James Franco, but they changed it up. Wouldn't it be interesting? I don't know that they're going to do this, but wouldn't it be interesting if they had Jamie Foxx as more the more wild one, and you had Kevin Hart as the more straight-laced one? That would be interesting.
I predict in the trailer we will see them both in drag.
Okay, I don't think you're wrong about that. All right, folks, listen, we've reached that part of the show called Buy or Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Chris Lee's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. And then Schnepp and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
The new Marvel film Captain America: The Winter Soldier hits AMC theaters everywhere on April 4th, and we can confirm for you that there are 2 post-credit scenes at the end of the film. It has also been confirmed that Joss Whedon directed one of them. We won't tell you anything about it so as not to spoil it, but John, buy or sell Whedon directing one of the post-credit scenes?
All right, so full disclosure, I have seen Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And we were told, there's an embargo on reviews right now, but we were told that we could tweet out our reactions. So I will simply tell you what I tweeted. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to tell you what I tweeted, okay? First of all, this is, okay. So I said, I believe I wrote, holy crap, this could be the best Marvel movie ever. And then I tweeted, I don't know if it's better than the Avengers. It might be, it might not be, but I can tell you it's a more well-rounded movie. Okay, so that's all I can say. That's what I tweeted. I'll go more into it in a couple of days. But there are 2 post-credit scenes. That's not a spoiler, but what is really surprising is usually with all Marvel films, when they have had press screenings for the Marvel films, they have never included the post-credit scenes. They've never included them for the press screenings. And they did with this one. And I thoroughly enjoy both. So when you go to see Captain America: Winter Soldier, I'll get to the Joss Whedon thing in a second, but when you go to see Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and you must go to see this movie, stick around because there's a mid-credit scene and there's another scene at the very, very, very end. So make sure you stick around for both, because I know a lot of people see the first post-credit scene, they go, oh, there, I saw the post-credit scene, then they get up and leave. Stick around, okay, for both. Joss Whedon directs the first post-credit scene, and it's wonderful. It's a great post-credit scene, and it makes sense. Because for Thor 2, remember they had that post-credit scene that is kind of our introduction to Guardians of the Galaxy. So they got James Gunn to go and direct that post-credit scene. And this post-credit scene, I mean, Kevin Feige has said this as much, so this isn't a spoiler. It kind of directly ties into what might be happening in Avengers 2, so it really makes sense then, and is consistent with Marvel's pattern, that they went and got Joss Whedon to come in and direct that scene. It was great. It felt, even though it was just a short scene, it felt like the Joss Whedon flavor. So for me, that was all a very long way to say a big, huge buy. Anyway.
Wait, you didn't get into the second post-credit scene.
I don't want to talk. Well, I can't say anything about it except that it's there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I did not see the movie yet, and I'll probably be seeing it with the rest of you normals at opening night. But hearing about Joss Whedon, doing a little stunt directing, I think it's great because why not? They got Gunn to do the Guardians intro. This makes perfect sense. My guess, since I don't know anything about it and I'm trying to avoid spoilers, is that it's either an introduction to James Spader, perhaps working with Tony Stark, or there's some kind of maybe Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver action.
I could answer all those questions for you.
Campea.
But I won't. I know, and I will say this though, just to rub it in a bit more. I'm going to go see it again tomorrow night, and I can't wait.
Don't you guys all hate John Campea?
So rude.
So rude.
So rude.
All right, what's next?
Oh, now that he's done being rude, a short time ago it was being reported that the potential list of directors for the future Marvel film Doctor Strange was narrowed down to just a few names, and now it's being claimed that the list is down to 3. Among the names listed are Brave director Mark Andrews and Jonathan Levine of 50/50 and Warm Bodies, in addition to Scott Derrickson of Sinister and The Exorcism of Emily Rose fame. Schnepp, buy or sell any of these directors for Doctor Strange?
I don't know. I can't really buy any of them right at this moment. All of them seem a little off to me. I understand why they might be going with the Brave directors.
Right.
So that makes the most sense. So if any of those directors, I would buy that. The director of Sinister, I think he's up for also doing a video game adaptation. That's what he's working on right now. I thought Sinister was okay directed, you know, and especially with the supernatural elements, I really felt it fell short. It was very like dissolve-y. Instead of using any kind of like scary graphics or any kind of like buildup of momentum, it was a lot of lockdown shots with dissolves that were supposed to be scary of little children doing this, but instead I laughed. So to me, like, you know, and that's obviously I think it's his first film. So there were also, it was the first 20 minutes was incredibly well directed of Sinister. So, you know, it's him growing as a director. So I can't knock off any of these guys, but I can't buy any of them either. For Doctor Strange, I want to see, Doctor Strange is one of my favorite Marvel characters. So I really want to see that Steve Ditko, Stan Lee flavor with all of the newer incarnations. You know, that's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm going to go on a little bit opposite of you. I actually can buy all these guys,
Really?
but each one of them would be a very different flavor to the movie.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Brave directors. Talking about Levine being because of his ability to handle really good narrative. But I got to tell you, I really liked Sinister up until the last 15 minutes. I thought that the last 15 minutes of Sinister completely derailed the film for me because up until that point, I got to admit, I was really into the movie.
Okay.
And I felt, personally for me, and you know, horror is so subjectively experiential as compared to a lot of other types of genres. And for me, I did feel the kind of creepiness, and I liked the way they were handling the story. And, you know, that's a really low budget film.
Yeah.
And the way they were able to make this very tiny, but I think it was sub 1 million, maybe even. This tiny budget film felt like a real production to me. And, you know, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, I thought they did a great job on that. I got to tell you, this is the new name in the mix because we've heard Levine's name, we've heard the other names before. This is the first time we're hearing Derrickson's name in this, and I really like it.
I forgot he directed The Exorcist.
Yeah, and somebody with a horror background.
Right.
I don't know. Has Marvel had a guy with like a horror background handle one of their properties yet?
No, not yet. I mean, that's of all the names, his name popped out the most as far as like, that's an interesting choice because he is from horror, so he would definitely be able to add that. I just want it to be, you know, and I'll be honest, I hadn't seen Exorcism of Emily Rose, so I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right, cool. Well, you know, just from Sinister alone, you know, I know he can handle low budget and make it look good, like you said. I just felt it, the way that the way he visualized some of these scenes that were supposed to be either scary or like the sequence where, you know, the guy's face in the QuickTime movie moves, stuff like that. Just me personally, I didn't like, but I know a lot of other people did. So.
All right, what's next?
At the recent South by Southwest Film Festival in Austin, Texas, an audience was treated to the first clip from the upcoming Godzilla movie. Instantly, reports began flooding out about how great the footage was and that the scenes confirmed Godzilla will be battling at least 2 other monsters in the film. John, buy or sell that Godzilla could be even better than we expected?
I'm buying it. I'm really buying it because I'll be honest with you, for most of this journey we've been on leading up to the new Godzilla film, my impression has been this will probably be good. Right. I wasn't expecting a Godzilla film to rock my world or whatever. I've expected it to be good. I was underwhelmed with the first trailer they put out, but I was blown away by the second trailer they put out. And I've got a lot of friends who are at South by Southwest that were at that screening of the scenes and the footage, and they are all losing their minds.
Oh, wow.
Like they are losing their minds over what they saw. And that has now put me in a position where I'm thinking, this could be beyond good. This could be special. This might be really special. And you were right. I think we talked about this before because the issue came up, do we think that Godzilla might have, you know, more than one bad monster? And I said, nah, they won't have more than one bad. And you said, I think they will, I think they will. Well, clearly you were right because clearly there will be at least 2 of them in there, which is going to be interesting to see. But yeah, this could be really special. I buy this could be better than we thought. What do you think?
I fully buy it. I mean, now that they've confirmed there's 2 different monsters and, you know, there was some like pre-release toy thing. So I think we saw what could be one of the monsters or maybe an early version of it or an adaptation or, you know, concept design or whatever it is. But now I really want to know what the second monster is. Is it Ghidra? Is it a Toho design? Is it a brand new design? I mean, that's kind of the exciting part, you know, as the months build up, and it's only like 3 months away.
Yeah, they did confirm too that one of the monsters was like multi-legged and had wings. So that does, because remember we were talking about that. There's that scene in the trailer where we see these fighter jets falling out of the sky. Something's got to be flying.
Yeah, and so it's not Godzilla.
Godzilla. So that kind of confirmed that for us too.
Yeah, and you know, I agree with you. When I first heard about the director of Monsters being hired to do Godzilla, that it's also very much like what Marvel's doing with Doctor Strange. They're getting some people who have like done some medium budget or smaller, lower budget
James Gunn with Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
And it's a smart way to do it. It's like bringing up talent and like letting them play with these characters. So with Godzilla, when I first heard they picked the Monsters guy, I was like, and they said they're going to go with this kind of found footage thing. I instantly was bummed out because like, we already had Cloverfield, and I don't want to see a Godzilla Cloverfield. So the great thing about the trailers is that it's not a Godzilla Cloverfield, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not a found footage movie either.
Right.
Like we were kind of worried about it first. So, but you know, it does bring up when you talk about the guys who they get to do this, the guys who they're getting to do Guardians of the Galaxy. When we did our thing on the weekend with Kevin Feige, Chris Pratt, and James Gunn, and we asked Feige, the question came in, you know, why get a director like James Gunn? I think this leads right into Godzilla as well. Why get a director like James Gunn, you know, who's never done a big budget thing before? And I think what Feige said, hopefully, is the direction all of Hollywood's going to go in. Feige said, because we don't care if they've worked on big budget stuff, we want to see that they can tell a story.
Sure.
We just want to see if they're good directors. Because you can give them special effects supervisors and whatever to do that, to carry out their vision. We just want to know we get a guy with a vision. So it's really cool seeing guys like James Gunn, Godzilla, all this kind of stuff, getting these directors, and that Hollywood's priorities going, not who directed the big special effects film, who directed great films.
Yeah.
And then who cares about budget, and then hand them a budget and see what they can do. I'm very excited about that trend.
Here.
All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a question or a comment you'd like us to make on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, every day we take in a couple questions from the mailbag and address them on the show. Chrisley's got a couple of them pulled out. So, Chrisley, what do we have?
Harry Green writes, loving the show as always. My question is, could you guys see Eva Green taking over for Kate Beckinsale in the Underworld series if she decides to move on from the franchise? I just watched the Sin City 2 trailer and saw her in 300 Rise of an Empire, and she certainly gives a memorable performance. Her eyes just speak vampire, and she has that sort of I hate you, but can't take my eyes off you kind of performance whenever I'm watching her play a bad guy. Before I throw this to you guys, Harry, do I have vampire eyes?
That I hate you, but I just can't take my eyes off you? I'm going to tell you this. I had a big argument on Saturday. Well, you know what? I was just taking the abuse. I got this friend of mine, Matt, who saw 300, and I had seen 300. We saw them separately. And I'm going to tell you right now, I liked 300 Rise of an Empire. I was not as good as the first 300. A very different kind of a movie. Lots and lots of action, and the way they did their action left me entertained, right? My friend Matt hated the film, just hated it. And the topic of Eva Green came up. And I said, well, but you at least got to say, Eva Green was a pretty great... Oh my gosh, I thought he was going to find a baseball bat and hit me in the head because they said he hated her in that. She was awful, she was terrible. And you know, I know a lot of people feel that way. I got to say, I really thought Eva Green was quite good as the villain in 300 because I thought in this machistic kind of, empire, run by Xerxes and stuff like that, the idea that that kingdom would have a woman general because of the way they are, I thought that just seems unreal. She made me believe it. She made me believe that in all of Xerxes' kingdom and empire, she is the biggest badass of them all. She totally sold me on it. I like her a lot. I will confess I quite like the sex scene too, but we won't go into that detail.
I heard about that being memorable.
Yeah, quite memorable. But no, seriously. But having said that, I don't think there are going to be any more Underworld films. I think they're done. So the idea of having Eva Green step in to pick up for Kate Beckinsale, like as the same character and just replacing her as a new character, and if it's a new character, why does it have to be a hot dark-haired girl? Why can't it be a dude who's the new lead character? But it's all kind of moot because I think they're done with Underworld. I think the box office shows that the public kind of got, we're underworlded out.
Right. And
that's not to say they can't relaunch it again in 5, 6, 7 years, but I just think it's kind of a moot point right now. What do you think?
Right. The last Underworld was Underwhelm. That's what I would call it. Yeah, Eva Green has got a very big career ahead of her. I don't see her stepping in to replace anybody else's 5th franchise movie. You know, I mean, granted, 300 is a sequel, but she's a great actress. I believe her. The first time I saw her was in Casino Royale.
Yeah, she was the Bond girl. That was my real first exposure to her,
fantastic, and you're right. She's got stunning eyes. Her facial features are great. But above and beyond that, she's a great actress. So
yeah.
I haven't had a chance to see 300 yet. I'm going to see it the next couple of days. So I'm looking forward to it.
Playing a good villain is hard to do. Because how many times have we seen great movies that were mediocre villains? I mean, look, the first Iron Man. We all say the first Iron Man, great movie. But even Jeff Bridges, one of the great actors of all time, wasn't able to give us a memorable villain.
Right.
We look at the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek film, right? Really great film. But even though
Eric Bana.
Eric Bana, who is terrific, was not able to give us to deliver us a really great villain. Not that he's not capable of it, just it's a hard thing to do. And you take a movie like 300 that's borderline mediocre, and you give someone to me that is a memorable, visceral, badass villain and do it well. That's hard.
And that makes it, edges it up, so it's not, it just puts it up on another level.
Yeah, it pushes it from mediocre to, enjoyable for somebody like me. I know a lot of people didn't like it. It's got a sub 50% rating on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and I totally understand why. I totally get why some people don't like that film. But for me, I enjoyed it. I had a good time, and Eva Green is a big part of the reasons why.
And she's cast now. She's going to be one of, I think, the most memorable villainesses ever as Ava Lord in Sin City 2. She's playing the Dame to Kill For.
Yeah.
And that is one of the best villains in comic books ever written. As a femme fatale, she's playing the femme fatale ever in a film noir comic book. So I can't wait to see what they do.
I hope that movie's good.
I really do too.
Because I really do not like the first trailer at all. I was really underwhelmed by the first trailer. I'm still trusting that it's going to be awesome, though.
I think the second trailer will blow you away. I too had some hesitancy with some of the visuals and some of the way they cut the first trailer together. I thought it was a little awkward. But I'm sure the second trailer will be incredible. And for me, having kind of memorized all of those Sin City comic books, most of those panels that you see, those frames, are from the comic.
Yeah.
It's frame by frame, which is how they did the first Sin City. So for me, it was really fun to see that very first shot of Glass and Marv flying backwards with his. So it's they're just literally right out of the comic book. So maybe taken out of context, it is a little less than cool. But I think it'll all work.
All right, what's next?
Cody Weiss writes, "Hi guys, you're awesome. So I just recently watched Reign Over Me, and I thought that Adam Sandler did a great job in that serious role. My question is, do you think Adam Sandler could ever be a good enough actor to be Oscar nominated? Thanks guys, and bring on the filthy."
Unequivocally, yes. Yes, he absolutely can be. It's funny. The last couple of years, I've been having these conversations. I and I think a lot of people have grown tired of Adam. For whatever reason, Adam Sandler, who's given us some of, in the pantheon of great all-time comedies, he's given us a number of just fantastic, memorable, classic comedies. But for whatever reason, in the last number of years, I've found his comedy to become quite stale. That's just me. I know other people still like, and that's great. That's awesome. That's why his movies still make some money. But I was shocked, especially after Reign Over Me, and there have been a couple of others, when he did a dramatic role, to realize how good he is. Adam Sandler, I thought an argument could have been made for Reign Over Me that Sandler, I think there's a solid argument to be made, Sandler could have gotten an Oscar nomination for his performance in that film. It was wonderful, and I think really eye-opening. And it was after seeing him in that movie, because we've seen him in a couple of other dramatic pieces where he's been really good, but for me it was Reign Over Me where I went, this guy is actually, he's taken it to another level. And he's really good and very believable in those roles. I completely believe if Sandler will get out of just what's comfortable for him, which is these schlocky comedies he's doing now, if he would get out of these things he's doing another one with Drew Barrymore that just looks awful. But if
Free vacation to Africa, I think that's what it's called.
I think if he would get out of that mold that he's just comfortable in and do more of these dramatic things, I have very little doubt at some point we would see an Academy Award on his man. I think he's that good. I really do. I think he is that good. And I just, as a film fan, I really hope to see him start to go in that direction. Anyway, what do you think?
Well, you know, I didn't see Reign Over Me, but I saw That's My Boy. And don't ask me why. It was just a weird impulse. Instead of going to see another movie, I was with my girlfriend and a friend. It was like, let's just go see That's My Boy. Come on.
Oh my gosh, that was so bad.
It was incredibly bad, but with the caveat of 3 incredibly funny scenes. One, the stripper upside down, drinking the orange juice. There's a couple of scenes in that movie that made me laugh out loud, which I would never expect. The rest of the movie was trash. But hey, for every one of those like bad comedies, there's usually always 1 or 2 of those scenes that are incredibly funny.
Oh, so, sure. Yeah.
I can never be too harsh with comedies, especially if hey, that one part was cool. You know, it's not a classic. But for me, Punch Drunk Love sticks out.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people talk about. Absolutely.
Where it shows you that he's an actor with depth. And he can play a real character with emotion, obviously with anger issues as well, which he plays great. He had anger management. He's always been that guy who can go from regular to super angry, you know. But with Punch Drunk Love, it showed a couple of different levels of acting that he just doesn't flex. I think it's really up to him to take that challenge. Like, I'm sure he has like 100 scripts in a drawer that he could easily comb through. That these are all, you know, dramas. That, you know, it's just taking that chance. It's all up to him. It's his production company. So it's Adam Sandler. Do you want to, you know, take another serious role and take a stab at being taken seriously, or do you want to stay in the wheelhouse of, you know, fun romantic comedy stuff? You know,
and he did 2 films that I think were attempts at being half and half. You know, half dramatic, half his comedy. So one was Click, which
right, and I like that.
You know, I loved the first half of Click, and then it lost me in the second half, and then there was Funny People, which should have been great. That should have been a great movie, and I was really disappointed with it. So he kind of did these 2 films where he was kind of straddling the fence. Right. Hey, I want to have a little bit dramatic, but I want to kind of keep my roots in comedy here. I just want to see him pull a Tom Hanks. Right. Pull a Tom Hanks and do your Philadelphia, you know? I want to see him do that, so it'd be kind of cool.
It's funny you mentioned Funny People because that's one of those uneven films where it has a lot of amazing scenes in it. It just is so weirdly paced, and it's like, I think it's like 2.5 hours. It's a really weirdly paced film. I would recommend it though, if people haven't seen Funny People, just to give it a shot. I mean, it is one of those films, like you said, that's kind of rides both lines, but you know, it's more serious than as a comedy, but it's a lot of funny moments.
I'm glad you're recommending it because I can't. Okay. so it's good that we have a little bit of balance on the table here. Well, listen, folks, that'll do it for it. We're not going to take any live questions today. We're having some technical issues, so we're not going to take live questions today, but we will get back. And listen, if you want to start throwing some questions at us, email them to us at amcmovietalk@gmail.com or tweet them to us at AMC Movie News. So listen, that'll do it for us for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to remind you, lots of great films playing in AMC theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. Make sure, stop what you're doing and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news, including our daily AMC Movie Talk Show, AMC Mailbag, AMC Coming Soon. Lots of great stuff that we have here on our AMC Theaters YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe. And listen, if you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video and you'll find links to our Stitcher and our iTunes audio-only podcasts. So for now, I want to thank, first of all, the guy sitting at the table with me, the one and the only Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me at Twitter and Instagram at John Schnepp. And I've got 2 events going on right now. This Saturday, if you're in Los Angeles, come to Meltdown Comics. I'm going to be in the back, the Nerd Melt showroom. I'm going to be in the back, and I'm selling my comic book collection. I'm doing a fundraiser for this Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. I'm doing some extra scenes. I'm going above and beyond what I had said, even though I didn't raise those stretch goals from a year ago. I'm doing some animations. I'm doing some really fun stuff. So please help me. Come by, buy some of my comics. I've got 80s, 90s, 2000s. You got Captain America, Iron Man, Batman, whole bunch of comics. My personal collection. Just come on by if you're in LA. It's in Hollywood on Sunset, Meltdown Comics, from 11 to 4. Come on by. And also I've got a donation button on the schneppzone.com/SupermanLives. If you'd like to be a finishing funder, you can just go to that page and donate right now and help me out. Thanks a lot.
And of course, our lovely host today, just back from New York again, Miss Crystalie Kennedy. Crystalie, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Crystalie, and you can find me Friday night with all my fellow marshmallows watching Veronica Mars.
Yeah, speaking of which, actually, just talk. You guys, you and Dennis and Aaron and Justin, you guys were all down in New York the last couple of days covering a big Veronica Mars event. Just tell us a quick bit about that. How was that?
All I can say is you guys are going to be amazed. It was awesome. I can't wait for you to see the red carpet footage. We got the entire cast. We answered fan questions, and any of you that are Team Logan may hate me after you see the footage, and that's all I'm going to say.
And you can find me on the various social media channels at John Campea. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name's John Campea for AMC Movie News, and until tomorrow, bye-bye.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.